where to start tonight. Can we start off with a conversation about the crazy swap deal? Because I don't know how these people get away with it. I really, really don't. So, Defensa Central put out a piece and it said that Real Madrid are looking to offload Rodrigo and are exploring a potential swap deal with Liverpool for Florian Wirtz. Now, before we all go, hang on, this is nonsense. It is nonsense. Of course it is. But it's the second part of this that really surprised me reading it. We always see dubious links, but they go a little bit deeper here. They go on to say that both clubs are reportedly open to negotiations with the 22-year-old German struggling to adapt to life in the Premier League. Absolute nonsense of the highest order. In what way, shape or form would Liverpool want to cash in on Florian Wirtz 2 months or so into his Liverpool career? It's just bullshit of the highest order. And to say that if Liverpool wanted Rodrigo, Liverpool would have gone for Rodrigo in the summer. Now, I'm not saying that they wouldn't maybe look to a deal if he was for sale, but there is no way that Liverpool worked as hard as they did, put the groundwork in that they did to convince Florian Wirtz to become a Liverpool player, that all of a sudden we're going to cash in on him. These people need to be called out, because the amount, and look, it's no accident to me that so much shit is coming out of Spain. It's just never-ending amounts of nonsense. Every player in the world apparently wants to go to Real Madrid and leave their clubs. It's just nonsense. Codswallop, lol. That was the only thing I could think of, Bradley, earlier on. I know what you're relating to. You're talking about the videos from earlier on. I couldn't think of a better word without swearing at the time, dude. And I try not to swear in the 8-minute videos. I tried to save all that swearing energy for the live streams. But yeah, Codswallop, sir. Codswallop. Hey Craig, I feel the heavy criticism for our transfers is justified, but let's be real, clubs look at it different. We bought them for 5 years, not one. Absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on, Ryan. This is a project. This is part of the evolution. So yes, there's no way. Look, we can talk about being frustrated, man, like you said. We can talk about certain players maybe not hitting the ground running and other stuff not working. But there's no way there's any truth to the idea that we'd look to cash in on Florian Wirtz. And do you know what? I'm going to go a bit further, Ryan. I'm going to say there's no way that Florian Wirtz would want to leave. Because he's not going to want to pack up and go, oh, well, I couldn't cut it in the Prem. Off I pop. Nah, he's not about that. He's not going to give up. He's going to settle in and he's going to prove all these doubters wrong, isn't he? So, quite simply, mate, I'm looking forward to the I told you so's to the non-Liverpool fans and people who are trying to write him off. So, yeah, what do we think? Do we think there's any truth whatsoever to this Wirtz stuff? Because for me, it's not even in the realms of possibility. And how they aren't being constantly called out for this nonsense, I don't know. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Hi, Craig. It's not Wirtz. The other players are too selfish. He could have scored several times. Wirtz must be frustrated, then play against him. Well, on that, I actually have a stat that I think you'll enjoy, Lolly. So, Florian Wirtz and Dominic Szoboszlai have both created 5 big chances in the Champions League this season, more than anybody else. But that's not a narrative that you're seeing out there much, you know. Wirtz the failure, Wirtz the, one-trick pony, Wirtz that hasn't showed up yet. But as Lolly said, and I agree, he's been unlucky. He should have more assists at this point. And probably should have a goal or so. If Salah squared that ball to me, he'd had a tap in. But just to reiterate, Florian Wirtz and Dominic Szoboszlai have both created 5 big chances in the Champions League this season, more than anybody else. So there we go. I like it. And I like that there's stuff coming out now to just back up what we hope for, yeah. But you can see signs, you can see the promise, you can see the quality. And also, he's creating the opportunities, as Lolly said, and as TNT Football said there as well.